One of the main things I think of is the role that climate and coffee have with each other, and just coffee being a harvested crop and the impact that just overall climate change is having. The supply of coffee is continuously at risk year over year. It's an important story that needs to be better told.
Don't tell me you can't solve problems. Don't tell me that you can't overcome obstacles or overcome mountains, because here's living proof. There's a living embodiment of what happens when you gotta do what you gotta do.
Are there things that you feel like you learned that could impact kind of how we do what we do, or what were kind of some of your takeaways?
Yeah, well, a big takeaway is like prioritizing who we work with.
Yeah.
Right. As a B-Corp, as a mission-driven brand, like it matters even more now to like prioritize the purpose as well as the profit of our business. It's not just about what we do in these four walls. It's really about us participating in being global citizens, right? Because, we are very reliant upon people who, before this Peru trip, we hadn't had a relationship with, didn't know them, but what they do impacts us. And obviously, we're trying to pass along that goodwill as well.
BLK Bold as a roastery, distributor, wholesaler is our business model today. We have aspirations to expand on that business model. And so really happy to have gone through the process just to be comfortable with taking a step, knowing where to collect information, having the right conversation on what we need to do to make the change that we'd like to see. What we didn't know was how intense the data collection may or may not be. And for me, it was how much of our carbon footprint is outside of our direct control and having to influence decisions of others.
The big things you really want to focus on right now are getting a handle on what can you do with coffee packaging dollars.
Most relevant one for us to focus on is the bibs, just because of the amount of money we spend on that, and it's not produced in-house. That
bag in the box.
Yeah, the bag in box in particular. Yes, thank you for that. Wanted to check in with our co-manufacturer and understand just like, all right, how much of this is recycled, how much is not, how much can be. Funny enough, they had information pretty readily available from their supplier. They didn't know that we had a level of interest in knowing that information.
We talked about hauling, so what did you find out?
Yeah, well, it's been a journey. How about that? So I started talking with our freight broker. And so anytime we're shipping product to our customers, we have our transportation company that's actually hauling the load and moving it on their trucks. But because we're a fairly small business and our needs change kind of, day by day, season by season, we work with a freight broker that helps us find the best trucking company for our specific scenario.
Like a middleman.
A middleman, exactly, because they can then go out to the market and see what all of the different trucking companies can do as far as rate, timing, and just what's the most efficient way to get the product from point A to point B.
Business logistics.
Yeah.
You said, you're gonna try to become the highest scoring B Corp of all coffee companies.
Yep.
And that's a great goal. Tell me about some of the concerns you had.
There were some areas that we excelled in, that we did really well on, taking into consideration our social impact piece. And there were some other areas where we need to focus a little bit of time and more energy and resources, like environmental. And really, I would love to be able to see what we will be measured upon.
Drake University students did some projects for us last year, benchmarking specifically on your score against others. And you have 99.1. So the first year you hit the threshold, then you bumped up to 99.1.
Yeah.
It's out of 200, so it's a little confusing sometimes.
Yep.
You think you can't do any more, but you've got more to go. And the highest coffee companies, especially the roasters like you, are in the 120s.
Yep.
And the fact that you're measuring your climate footprint gives you points. We're going to be setting targets there. And then there's a lot actually with your environmental impact of your packaging, which we've talked about.
Yep.
When you change your materials, that's an environmental benefit, and it actually shows up under B Corp's environment category. So not just climate, but climate is helping you really flush out your entire environmental program and get you more points.
I love
recognized for it.
I love that.
you want black and bold, kind of, we call it primary data. And so that would be great to see if they can provide that to you. If they can provide black and bold specific estimates, do they seem like they might be friendly to a future where you're going to ask for like, hey, can we up that percentage?
That's where I'm going next in the conversation with them, is to find that out. And so, they've been, supportive thus far. So we'll see if we, run into any dead ends. But I think that's the next piece for us, just to learn that.
One thing that I'm really excited about is even just analyzing it to see where we can be more efficient in how we plan our transportation. So where maybe today we might have 3 different trucks leaving on an afternoon, maybe they could have all gone on the same truck if we just planned it differently.
I'm really excited that it not only helps you with climate, but it's going to help you towards your bigger goal of getting a B Corp score. For instance, there's about 48 questions. That could change, but there's 14 of them that have not been answered or you're not scoring on yet that you easily could, just given the climate work that we're doing. Just those 14 questions, that's an extra 11 or 12 points possible. Not to say you'll get all of them. That already puts you up in the, close to the 120s.
We have so many entry points to our brand. There's a lot of reasons why people rock with us, and if we can just give them another point of advocacy, given not only that we are a B Corp, but we are striving to continue to improve so much so that we want to be the highest scoring one, I think that will resonate with the conscious consumers, which is the bulk of people who rock with the brand. So I think that it'll land well, and hearing that we can make these adjustments and that we're making these adjustments, it gives me a lot of optimism. So thank you. It's been hugely beneficial for us to go through this process. We learned a lot, and I encourage other businesses to do the same. You don't have to be afraid of the findings and the results of the research. I think that having that information will only equip you to make better decisions that not only benefit your business model, but benefits your constituents and the community and environment at large. Don't run away from knowing that information. You don't heal what you don't reveal, and the more knowledge that you have, the better equipped you are to make some more informed decisions.
And now that we have gone through this experience, we have a much stronger foundation of what those principles are, on this topic, that we can be leaders with our constituents and our stakeholders as we continue to build our company.
So that was a key learning for me, and it influences me and my daily habits on how I can be a better global citizen.